Have you ever felt excited to work out in VR only to lose motivation after a few weeks? After 4 years of using VR as my go-to fitness tool, I've unlocked 4 game-changing lessons that have kept me consistent and motivated, even with ADHD. So in this video, I'm going to teach you the 4 crucial lessons from my VR fitness journey, the mistakes I made so you can avoid them, and how to supercharge your fitness routine so you start seeing results within days. So what are the 4 lessons? Well, let me start by sharing the first mistake I made, one that I can guarantee you've made as well. 4 years ago, I was fighting depression and burnout. I had 0 motivation to move and I lost my previous joy of exercise. That's when I got my Quest 2 VR headset. The first game I ever played was Beat Saber and I was immediately hooked. I spent every afternoon playing until the battery died and I was dripping in sweat. For weeks I kept this up and I was so happy to finally find something that get me moving again. Until the day when it didn't. I just sat there staring at the headset and no matter how much I looked, I just couldn't get myself to put it on, waiting for motivation to find me so that I could get back to my new routine. This was my first mistake. After weeks of staring at my headset, I finally realized that expecting motivation to magically find me was like expecting to lose weight by watching workout videos. I created a strategy where I modified my fitness routine for the days when I needed a little extra to help get started, and I included motivation-boosting tactics to help me stay on track. This approach helped me see progress, which built on the emotional reward I got from my workouts and kept me going. So how can you apply this to your routine? Start by writing a list of the things you find motivating and fun about exercise. It can be topping the leaderboards, music, a new high score, meeting new people, dancing, or even knocking out your opponent in Thrill of the Fight. Keep this list on hand and expect that some days you will feel less motivated than others. Don't be afraid to switch out your FitXR Sculpt workout with dancing around in Beat Saber if that's what you need to put on your headset and get moving. When I implemented these changes, I was finally able to consistently work out 3 times a week and I was heading for the top of those leaderboards. But this unveiled a big problem with VR fitness. After playing Beat Saber for a few weeks, I noticed that it was getting easier to play for an hour without taking a break. And at the same time, I noticed that my scores were improving as I was moving from normal maps to hard ones. So since competition, scores, and new records are some of my top motivators, these changes should have sent me to the moon. But it didn't. You see, even if my scores improved, I didn't feel like I was actually getting any fitter. Even though I was less tired after my workout sessions, I didn't feel more energized overall. So this made me wonder, was I actually getting fitter or just better at the games? I decided to investigate, so I set up my phone and recorded myself during one of my VR workouts. And there it was, clear as day. Instead of bending my knees, I was leaning over, and instead of stepping side to side, I was using small, precise wrist movements to clear the boxes. No wonder I was barely breaking a sweat. Fortunately, this is something super simple to fix. The next day, I was moving around using my whole body, and even though my scores went down a little bit, I felt like I had accomplished so much more by the end of that workout than what I did before. This is when I decided to set up a system to avoid making the same mistake again. This system has made it easy to track how my fitness is improving, and it's incredible how much it's kept me accountable. So, how can this system help you get fit? Start by picking a VR fitness app that you enjoy, one that has multiple difficulties and will give you a score at the end of each class. There are multiple ways to trick the scoring system in VR apps to make them think you're working harder than you are. So for the next 2 steps, set up your phone so you can film yourself. Then pick a class you know you can comfortably do and go for it. Write down your score at the end of the class and your average heart rate too, if you have a tracker. Then in the same app, pick a more difficult class. One that you know will challenge you. Write down your results the same way as before. Then, every month, redo those same 2 classes and compare your results. You can also watch your recordings to make sure you are not cheating and that your technique is staying good. Over time, you will see your scores going up while your heart rate should go down. But what happens if you don't see any improvements? Imagine going to a gym and you're telling your personal trainer that you want to go on a bike trip with your friends next summer. And your trainer looks at you and says, "Okay, great. Here's a tutorial on how to knit a scarf." You'd be like, "What? That's not what I wanted." And you'd leave and never go back to that trainer ever again. Obviously. If you want to go on a long bike trip, you have to do exercises that will actually improve your strength and endurance so that you can keep up with super fit, way too perfect Jenny. Unfortunately, even though an app might promise that you will get stronger and fitter in a fun and safe way, that's not always the case. I have tried way too many VR fitness apps that randomly combine movements in ways that doesn't make any sense, teach you wrong and dated concepts, and could even cause injury. I want to believe that every app is designed to give you exactly the results that you expect, but this is far from the case. So how do you avoid getting tricked by false promises and wasting your time? I will go into more detail about what to look for in an upcoming video, but for now, ask yourself this. What do you want to achieve with your workout? What goals are you working on today? Then when you are done, answer these questions. Did the workout challenge you? Could you complete it without any pain? And are there scores that you can track and see if you improve? And did you enjoy the workout and want to do it again? If you answered no to any of these questions, it's time to look for a different app. But what if you're still not hitting your next fitness goal? This is a situation I found myself in earlier this year, and it forced me to really dig deep and make a dramatic change. See, my goal when I first started my VR fitness journey was to lose weight and just feel better. After about 6 months, I was feeling confident in my workouts again, and I was eager to just keep pushing, building a strong and healthy body. And as I was losing the weight that I wanted, my goals shifted and it became to increase my muscle mass. I was working out almost every day in VR until my legs shook out with exhaustion, and I even started using a weighted vest for some of my sessions. But month after month, the numbers didn't change. This is when I realized I had hit a plateau. If I were going to get the muscle that I wanted, it was no longer enough to do a 6-minute lower body sculpt class in FitXR. So I started adding weight training sessions at home, and a few months ago, I made the big decision to join a gym for the first time in over 5 years. Going to the gym just allows me to lift heavier weights and challenge myself in ways that VR can't do. The equipment at the gym allows me to target muscles that have been ignored for the past 4 years, and I'm finally seeing the progress I've been looking for. So does this mean that you have to join a gym to get fit? Even though VR is a fantastic fitness tool, it's just that, a tool. And as with every tool, it has its weaknesses. Even though you can push your cardiovascular system and see improvements no matter how fit you are, you can't do the same for weights and strength. Body weight exercises, small wrist weights, and even weighted vests can take you a long way, but depending on your goals, it might not be enough. But does that mean that I no longer use VR for fitness? So a holistic workout program consists of more than just cardio or just weight training. It also includes mobility, balance, and rest. VR can provide all of that, and in most cases, it does it really, really well. But there will come a point where you need to ask yourself, can VR do this for me? And the answer might be no. That might mean something as small as adding in a couple of core exercises at the end of your VR sessions, or as in my case, it means dedicating 2 to 3 days per week to lifting heavier weights in a gym, and then use VR for the rest of my workout. No matter where you are now and what your goals are in the future, implementing these lessons will supercharge your fitness journey and hit new milestones before you know it. But how will you navigate the growing market of VR fitness apps to find the most effective programs? Well, watch this video next where I break down the best VR fitness apps of this year so that you can feel more confident in your workouts.